So with Macbeth, we deal with themes of ambition, power, regret, which are all things as far as American politics we've seen over the past couple of years in subject matter. How do
Yeah.
you think younger audiences will connect with this story? Because as you said, at a time when growing up, Shakespeare isn't something that most are familiar with outside of Romeo and Juliet, but the story is so universal. So how do you think that they'll respond to this rendition?
It is universal. It's one of those things that, and I've said this before, but for me, my entree into Shakespeare was language, right? Like and not everybody, can get behind that. Not everybody sort of understands it, but the way I was able to sort of put it together was, for me, Shakespeare was a poet, obviously, but he was a poet of the streets, and so it was, I look at it in the same way I look at our heroes, our lyrical geniuses, our, everyone from Mos Def to Snoop and our to Dre and NWA and what they were talking about back in the day. They were poets of their streets, and you might not be able to understand every piece of lyricism and every spin and alliteration and the assonance and all of that kind of stuff, but all of that plays into what the images that they're conjuring up and the feeling that you get when you hear a song. And so I equate that same thing to Shakespeare. He was talking about all of these themes of ambition and murder and fate and what is destiny and all of that kind of stuff, and he put it into this what you call it poetry, but this play that we now have adapted into film and has been adapted many times in the film, and it's still the same. I play Macduff, and Macduff is a man who loses his family, his wife, his kids. They were murdered by Macbeth, somebody who he looks up to, somebody who he hopes to maybe emulate or be one day. And you experience that loss in a year where we're going through loss. You experience what it is when unchecked, what is unchecked power, and we don't even have to get into all of that because we know what that is. We just came out of a lot of it. But that's what, the simple version of that is that art imitates life, right? But to be able to bring that to screen with one of our modern day heroes, Denzel Washington, embodying all of that. A complex character. Is he as evil as, and what drives him there? It's always fun to watch, a master get in there and play with those themes. And it's always just dope to be able to go along for the ride opposite him on screen, in rehearsals. So yeah. I think modern audiences can bring themselves to it in whatever way, whatever you pick up on, I think, Jill.